Yo, yo, it's your boy AO. Another episode of Lakers for Life Live. I got my boy Shay with me to break down this absolute massacre. Oh, that was a tough watch. We're gonna try our best to unpack it, but
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
just man, this was a barometer test that I kind of said was gonna happen or we needed kind of understand where we're at in the season. It's game 12. We're playing an OKC team that's number one in the league. How do we stack up? How do we stack up? And they were missing Wiggins. They were missing Lou Dort. They were missing J Dub. And I know we were missing Braun, but I think we took some step backwards. And I know we never want to overreact to a single game, but this is what you need to be a true contender or stay in the game with and compete against if you want to be put in that tier. And I don't know, before we unpack, to me, it just we look miles away from that team.
Yeah, we definitely look pretty far off from the top. I mean, this was the first real test. Luca, Austin, they could not get it going. There was no offense. It was bad. It was done. 12 minutes in the game. It was done. First quarter is a wrap.
Yeah.
Literally
Okay.
that play in to start the second quarter or like a minute in. Reeves a bad take, just blows a layup. They go down and 1-3. Marcus Smart fouls. The game was done from there. It was a wrap.
Yeah.
They lit it up.
They absolutely lit it up. And they not only did we come with low effort today, and I think this was already a spillover from what we saw against the Hawks. That game was a massacre. And we didn't look great in that first quarter against the Hornets, put together a second and third quarter and was sloppy in the fourth. We just didn't enter this game with a lot of fire and, some questionable play. I think some of our lows of the early season so far, and it just spilled over into this game. And OKC, this caliber of a team feasts. They taste blood and they rip your heart out, your soul out if you come out sloppy and turning the ball over.
They weren't
And
messing
I
around.
thought
They weren't messing around.
no, they came out to handle business, and we looked like outside of maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, we looked like complete children like out there. It was like a child's team.
It looked like a G League team, which is crazy. Like,
And this is with Luca, AR, Ayton.
yeah, AR looked bad today. Like,
And you're talking about absolutely sucked the life out of us to where we couldn't even get into an action. We couldn't even get our offense started. And it was just a very, very sad showing. I mean, before we get into some themes of the night, but just going back to the box score, underwhelming game for Luca. 19 points on the night, a season low by far. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 for 20 from the field. OKC made life very, very difficult. And when you're playing this heliocentric basketball of just relying on a P&R, which we really didn't even go to,
yeah,
they just made life hell for Luka. 1 for 7 from 3. He had 4 turnovers on the night. Austin Reeves, a pedestrian, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 for 12 on the night, 0 for 5 from 3. His shooting woes are continuing. And I put up a post on X earlier today of Luka and Austin are shooting like less than 32% from the 3-point line. And after this game, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, I mean, they were 1 for 12.
Who is that? Yeah, together.
And Luka together that's really bad.
That's not going to get it done. 1 for 12 from your 2 top players from 3. And, We were 19 from 28 from the free throw line, that's just gimme points. That seems to be a theme with this team. But you go deeper into the box score, DeAndre 6 and 5. He only had 5 shot attempts. We couldn't even get into an action to get him the ball.
Yeah,
And
he didn't look great today either. I mean, 4 turnovers.
yeah,
Defensively, he was just kind of slow. I mean, they all gave up. Obviously, it was done in 13 minutes.
which is
Like,
wild.
it was
13
not
minutes, they
like
just shut out.
analyze after that. It was a wrap. I mean,
Yeah, Chet blocked Aiton's layup on the very first attempt, and you knew like you got to come stronger than that. Like if that's how you're gonna come out with no physicality, but I still think 5 shot attempts is extremely low. I mean, Rui 13-5, 2 steals, 5 for 11 on the night. He had a little bit of, but still nothing on the defensive end. Marcus Smart was I think a dumpster fire today. Made his free throws, but he's
it's a lot of bad plays.
pulling up from 3 on breaks and just didn't really give any resistance to SGA tonight, who we'll get into them in a second. But you round out with our bench, Jake LaRavia. I think he's been underwhelming for the past few games now.
He's disappeared.
He's disappeared completely. 1 for 6 on the night. When you're getting that play from Jake, who started off the season hot, and he's just something's going on. He looks timid again. He's not playing with confidence. And that's a big concern for me. I mean, the rest, Dalton Connect had 16 on the night. I mean, it's very different when you score 16 in the garbage time like this.
He was hitting his threes, though, at least.
He hit his threes in garbage time, but when the game counts, are those 16 points going to arrive, right? Are we going to get that hot shooting? But he was the only life we saw. If there was any silver lining, is Dalton Connect saw the ball go down. But I mean, dude, OKC had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures.
Yeah.
Shea finished with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals on 10 for 18 shooting in 29 minutes. The guy hasn't played a fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's wild.
He hasn't played 7 fourth quarters to start the season.
That's
ridiculous.
The Thunder, legit. I don't know who's like at their level, and I don't even know what their level is right now because they're not even healthy, and
they're missing their players. No J-Dub, no Lou Dort, no Wiggins on the night, and everyone that's in the chat. We're as frustrated as you guys. We're going to be unpacking it. Drop your comments. If you're on X, we're looking at the space. Drop your comments. If you're on YouTube, definitely comment there. Hit the subscribe. Hit the like button. We're going to go for a minute because this was an absolute massacre. We want to hear from you to keep the conversation rolling. Don't be shy. Get your comments into the chat. Let's unpack this abysmal game. I mean, to finish off the stats for the night, dude, first quarter, outscored 30-18. To your point, the game was over then. So I thought it was interesting. We were up 10-6. OKC proceeded to go on a 24-8 run to end the quarter. And then they came back in quarter 2 and outscored us 40-20.
Yeah,
and SGA wasn't even playing in the second quarter.
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out on offense. There was nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah, we shot 40% on the night. 31% from 3. OKC wasn't lighting it up from 3. We got points off turnovers, 26-13. OKC's favor. We turned the ball over 20 times on the night. Rebounding battle was about the same. Free throws, again, we shot 68%. We missed 9 free throws. I mean, 19 assists on the night. We actually outscored them in fast breaks, which was interesting. But let's get into the fact that, dude, they sucked the life out of us on offense. That defense is so resilient from OKC. We could not get into any semblance of an offense tonight, man. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
no, yeah, we literally couldn't do anything. Like, I don't even know why or how. Luka looked slow, he couldn't. Caruso had him on lockdown.
I miss Caruso.
Luka couldn't do anything on it. Reeves couldn't do anything on anybody. Rui was having a tough time against Chet. Like, it was tough all around. And if we're not making shots, we look just really bad because we're already not a good defensive team.
Yeah. We finished with 92 points on the night. For a team that is supposed to be a top 5 ceiling offense, even without Braun. And by the way, I'm just going to preface this. Even if Braun was here tonight, this effort, we were getting our ass whooped. We'll get into what the dynamics would have changed, but 92 points on the night. We struggled to get to 92. We had 38 points at halftime. That is ridiculous. And it goes back to not only do they have size with Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, but their perimeter defense without Dorton Wiggins and J-Dub, who's a big-time defender too, they just had us absolutely cooked. Yeah, absolutely cooked. And they're running out players on the back half of their bench and still whooping our ass. Like,
and everybody can shoot on that team. Like,
everyone.
It's crazy. And they pull threes like it's open rec. Like, they pull anything. It's crazy. Like,
it felt like they're 24-hour fitness.
They look like they easily can go back to back. Like, they're a real dynasty. Like, that's why it's like the bar set for what you need to be for the Lakers. Like, you need to get a couple more pieces. We got to see what Braun looks like, but there's still a lot of work to do with this Laker team. Like,
there's a lot of work to do. It's just, for a barometer test, I wanted to see more fight. I wanted to see more effort, some grit. I think for me, if we would have came out fighting, we go down, OKC goes on a few runs, they're 10-0, they're 8-0 runs, but we're fighting back, we're responding ourselves, and the game, shakes out the way it shakes out. At least you can build off of it, right? Okay, here's where we lacked. Here's some situations in the game where we didn't play well. We went on a drought. They gave us this coverage that we have to think about. But today it wasn't even coverage. They just locked down on the perimeter and there is nothing to build off of in this game except for we are miles away from where OKC is as a team.
Yeah, and it's fair. I mean, most teams are that far away. It's shown. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're obviously not in our full rebuild, but we're seeing what we need. It's still only been 10 games. Like, that was the first real test, and we failed like badly. So I mean, that's the learning lesson. Like, all right, they gave us playoff basketball. Like, we got a taste of that and see what we were up against, and we folded. So it's like, that's good learning lessons. You know what I mean? Like, at the same time, like, they got their asses handed to them by the best team. And then it's like, all right, I don't think you can get worse than that. So
I think it was a wake-up call. It exposed so much deficiency on our team. One, we just can't match that physicality and that tenacity that they have with our roster today. Like, Marcus Smart, when he doesn't even look good, you have nothing left after that in terms of what you can respond back with. And I think that was the biggest, eye-opening thing for me. Like, last year against OKC, we were in these games. Luka was doing his thing. And again, LeBron, I think, does bring a much-needed defensive presence over Rui. He's obviously an elite player on the offensive end too. He gives another coverage when they're shutting down both Reeves and Luka, and now you still have to defend LeBron. There is no question, I think, today, anyone that says we don't need Braun, that needs to stop. Yes, if you want to have any shot at a championship or contending or even be competitive in the playoffs, LeBron needs to be on this roster. And then that's period. How it works, the synergy between the trio, what role he plays off ball or what his usage looks like, that all can be debated. But if you think that LeBron is not going to be on this roster and we can compete against the West, that was OKC. I don't even think we're close to Denver. There's absolutely no way. And I I don't know how you feel about that, but I've seen that on the timeline, and I'm just like, what are you? No, like you need LeBron James here. Anyone that thinks otherwise, I don't
No,
know.
yeah, I mean that's obvious. It's like he's coming back, so we get a brand. It's like it's brand new start. So like we got this first 10, 11, 12 games or whatever.
Right.
We got to assess. We got to see what you know Luca and AR look like. Because you got to think they got to look. They got to see what they need in the future too. Bron's not going to be here forever. So now we see what this team is without Bron. So it's like, okay, we get to see something for maybe next year, players that we want to get or what we need, who we go after for that, however much Bron's getting paid, whatever that yields. You got a good taste of what you do need. And then when Bron comes back, now we build for now. There's no
Yeah.
point of everything that we're doing right now is for this season. It's we're just trying to win games. We're just trying to get into flow, build some chemistry, build a little bit of that culture. And then when Braun comes, now comes the full scale of like, this is our strategy. This is how we're gonna go about things. These are your roles. That's when I believe everything starts, and then we can get a real good look at this team. So I don't want to go into like if this team is not capable, it's not ready, all that stuff. We don't know yet because we haven't seen this team at full strength.
We haven't seen this team at full strength, and LeBron James is a huge piece, no doubt about that. And when he comes back, it's looking like possibly the 23rd. That's when we're really going to see how we gel together. And he is a big piece on the defensive end. We don't have a lot of defensive personnel, and he has the IQ and the acumen that's miles above Rui. I mean, Rui's having a stellar season so far. You look at his effective field goal percentage and where he's making shots from in his percentile rankings. It's absurd on how he's scoring. But, that 16 points a game when Braun comes back, even if Rui goes down to 10, 11 a game, and LeBron comes back and gives you that 20 to 22, that's a huge net increase on the offensive end. And you're getting the defense that Rui just does not necessarily provide on a night-to-night basis. And that's with LeBron maybe taking plays off, etc. But he does give you a rebounding presence and defense. I think for right now, where my concern is just this kind of downturn we're facing. We went into the top of the show. Atlanta Hawks. The Charlotte Hornets was underwhelming. And now you had this massacre against OKC, which was probably a culmination of those two games. Are you concerned with just kind of, it's early, but just the kind of trend downward from what we've been seeing for the first, that grittiness, that resilience, that we got to win by any means necessary kind of mentality? You feel like that's kind of slipping?
I mean, I think the biggest we'll know that in this next game, how they bounce back from getting just smacked twice in the last 3 games. So who do we play next?
I believe it's the Pelicans. So that's got to be a gimme win.
Yeah, and so I mean, you have that game. What's the next game after that?
And then it's the Bucks. Pelicans, Bucks next to finish off.
So like, yeah, obviously Pelicans must win. Anything close, it's another disappointment. So now the downtrend is continuing further. Right now, it's like, okay, yeah, we are obviously in a downtrend, but the Pellies is the type of game where like, all right, one of them got to go off. Luca, AR, like you need some type of big game, or you need a big team win.
We do. I mean, our net rating is completely smashed after this game. And I talked about it on the last live. And for those just joining the show, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Lakers for Life Live. We're a new channel. I got my boy Shay with me. We're rapping about this loss and just kind of trajectory moving forward. If you got comments, drop them in. We're checking them out. We want to hear from you guys and get some of your guys' perspective. So if you're on YouTube or if you're on X, get over to YouTube, drop them comments. Let's get them in the channel, But I want to get into the net rating. So this is an interesting metric. Like our net rating was about a +2, and we were third in the West. And there's a metric called SRS, which is simple rating system that takes net rating and aligns it and adjusts it for your strength of schedule. So it's a much better idea of where you stack in the West. And our net rating, that SRS, was at a 5th and 6th in the West, even though we were sitting at number 2. And net rating is huge. You typically want to be at +5, +6 because it means you're winning games at the margin you're supposed to be against teams that are not good, and you're taking care of business against the good teams. But right now, with this loss, with how big it was, 30 points, we're going to be 8-4 with a negative, most likely a negative net rating on the year, that is wild to me. That is not a foundation to build on. And we don't want to, these games like the Hawks and the Hornets are just, how you respond with the Pelicans and the Bucks, I think is so much more important because that's what you have to build those habits. And I just don't want us to keep kind of spiraling into this low effort, we're better than we think we are type of mentality, right? And it seems like we're kind of heading that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Seeing how Luka and AR played, they're the ones who are going to lead the way. So, I mean, when they play bad collectively, like, what hope is there for the team? You know what I mean? Like, that's how crucial they are. Because, I mean, DA is only getting his buckets through
both of
whatever gets created from AR and Luka. So it's like he's not going to save you. Rui, he can get after it, but I mean, like, that's not going to get you games. So, like, if both of them are not playing well, which they haven't been shooting well at all last few games, and like they need to get it together and figure it out. Like Charlotte, they were balling against Charlotte. They dropped buckets. You know what I mean? Second half was great, but they're still not shooting well. Like,
no,
they could be so much better.
And 11 for 32 between Reeves and Luka just shows how tough that defense was from OKC. 1 for 12 again from 3-point land, and both of them are trending pretty low for the year on 3-point percentage, which it hasn't even been close to what they've been doing in the previous year or even to their career averages.
Yeah, I mean soft today. They just played soft.
I think this like Luka offense though. Like, tell me what you think about like when Luka's on and shredding, like when we saw it against Minnesota against McDaniels, and he's kind of orchestrating and dictating and really surgically like getting after a team's defense. But then when you see a tenacious defense like OKC and you see so much ball stalling, shooting errant threes, not getting a lot of actions outside of the PNR, which stalls your offense. We don't have a lot of ball movement. And then you see Austin kind of chucking up threes and not being able to get to the paint and finish. Is there really an adjustment to that? Or is that just who we're going to be? I mean, LeBron would probably bring that off-ball kind of oxygen, but that offense hasn't been looking – when Luka's on, he's on and it looks crazy. But when he's not and you're facing a defense like this, it is tough.
I mean, that's what you hope Bron solves. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you hope there's a little more.
So the fact that we have that piece there that can solve at least maybe this temporary issue, then I feel like we can make all our comments on the future. That's why, like, all the skepticism, this ain't the team right now.
Right.
This is not the team right now. So a loss like this, yeah, they had guys down, we had guys down, and you just take it. They threw it early. Second half, I mean, they kept up scoring, but I mean, it means nothing.
The game was over in the second half. When you're down 30, this thing's pretty much cooked. And I agree. I think it's time now. We've seen big scoring outputs. I know there's stuff on the timeline right now. Oh, Reeves sees a real defense. That 50 ball against the Kings, there's no semblance of that against OKC. And I get we do need to see our team in full. But how I kind of judge these games, and I know everyone's like, oh, it's one game. It's the first game against OKC. We could have that mentality, right? But the goal is, again, to build off of these games, build habits, or build something to say, hey, we need to make X, Y, and Z adjustments, and we can stay competitive, or this is a counter that we need to impose because they put this coverage on us that we struggled with. Today, we just looked like a JV team playing like the nation's best team in the country in high school. Like, We look like children today. And that's what I think was the most concerning. You said it earlier, like this team looked like a G League team today. And to have that low of a floor against the best team, like, sure, you may not beat OKC right now. We're not ready for that. We're not at that level. I can accept that as a Laker fan. Like, we're not. We went into the season saying OKC is just miles above a lot of teams in the West and the league. But this was just a no-show, not even like competitive. And I don't even know, outside of us kind of theorizing when Braun comes back, which is a big piece, if they get J-Dub back, Lou Dort, Wiggins, with everything we saw, like that's a tough bar, man. And hats off to OKC. They look tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a legit dynasty that they
Yeah.
have in OKC, and they have a lot of pieces to move and do a lot of things for the future. Like they're set, and their coaching is great. The culture is great. It's built off one player who's consistent as hell. Like he's 30 a game, easy. Like he's
30 a
doing
game.
this all in the third, up until the third quarter. They're smacking teams.
Oh yeah,
It looks too easy for them. But I mean, like regular season shit. Like, but they are a different team. Double big. They have all the pieces that you need.
it's like they're like random rotation players
Oh,
know
those
how
are
to play basketball at a high level. And I think
big
that's
role players on a lot of. They'd be great on a lot of teams.
a
Like
lot of
Isaiah
teams.
Joe coming back, and he's just getting like 12, 15 a game, easy. Like
AJ Mitchell looks like,
no
the
one
next
even knew who he was, and he's over here starting putting up really good numbers night in. Like
a high level rotation player. And that's with Cason Wallace. That's with our boy Alex Caruso there. That's
And
with
Hartenstein
Wiggins
looks
there.
great. Chet looks great. Like,
And I'm just like, when you have that much depth, and this goes back to our conversation on the roster. Yes, LeBron comes back. I think with LeBron playing, this is a much different game. 100%. Do we win? Maybe not, with the level of effort we showed across the roster and for some of these offensive adjustments we need to make. But it's just, when you have dead pieces on the roster like a Kleber and a Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent, who knows when he's going to come back, a 15th roster spot where you can't even sign anyone. Bronny's a project player. A dude, Theoro, we don't know what he looks like yet. He's just a theory right now. He's a second-round pick. And I have high hopes from him. I'm tempering my expectation. But I just named off 6 players on the roster. And if you look at OKC's, their ninth man to 15th would be like right in our rotation.
oh yeah, easily.
And when you have that big of a talent gap, it means your stars at the top have to be that much better than the other teams. And their stars at the top are SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. So it's like they have this perfect team. And I thought, I even went on the last year, I said they looked a bit fugazi, and Denver kind of gave them that, if Aaron Gordon wasn't hurt, maybe they escape that series and Denver moves on, and maybe Denver's the champions of the NBA. But, I think they had holes in their roster, but they seem to just have gotten better. And like, I think they're a clear bona fide number one. And I think it's just going to be very hard, even with Braun. What this just tells me is there's just a lot we have to do as a team internally to get better, outside of just the players that we need to add.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big statement game. OKC came out. This is what they wanted to do, and they did it. So I mean, it is what it is. Got to move on.
And it's all about the bounce back. We gotta see better
Still
play.
first year with this team. They haven't had that many reps. Luka, obviously, you see it. You gotta be better in these moments. Like this type of defense. Like I don't know. He looked slow. Like he wasn't getting after it like that. The defense was in control of his game, which doesn't happen.
No, he's usually very much in control. That's one thing you can count on. And I thought that was so concerning to see today, because they didn't even have some of their best defenders playing. And they just completely packed him out of the game. to where he was just putting up threes from deep over a guy like Chet. And it's like, okay, if those go down, cool, but this isn't a sustainable or scalable offense. Like, there was no other action out on there except, okay, let's try one pick PNR, and oh, that didn't work. They have a counter to it. All right, let's figure it out from here. And Austin Reeves, these are the moments, right? And again, like you said, this is the first game against OKC. We got bigger games. We have 70 games left in the season. But in our first big test, and I think everyone was hyped for this game. Everyone that's in the chat, again, welcome. Drop your comments, drop your thoughts. We want to hear your frustrations. If you think we're, one of our takes ain't what you're thinking, like it or hate it, drop a comment and debate it. Let's talk. Let's talk. But it just seemed like, damn, we're gonna win games, but this bounce back is important, man. We got to finish this road trip strong. I'm just not seeing what we're seeing in the first 9 games, and we were depleted. And we did play some good teams, like getting that game against Portland, getting that game against Miami, who's been doing well this year, getting that game against the Wembanyama Spurs and coming from behind, right? Like, these are good games. We've beaten Minnesota twice, right? We handled Minnesota the first game, absolutely killed them. Like, there are wins under this Lakers team belt to where we can stand on something.
Yeah,
but I just haven't seen that team, and I don't know what it is that's just shifted outside of just mentality or effort, or it just seems to be a huge 360 shift or 180 shift. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, after a game like that, I mean, it's ass. So you look at this team, it's like, oh, like this team ain't it, this, that. I mean, it happens. It's a game. Like I said, they lost in literally, they knew it was done.
First 13 minutes done.
13 minutes.
When they went on that little run to start the second quarter, it was just
6-point switch.
Yeah.
It was a wrap. Like, our knew it was done from there. It was game. So, I mean,
I mean, it was bad all around. I had some game notes, but after a while in the second, I was like, okay, these game notes don't even matter anymore. There's not even really any analysis you can do except for we have some underwhelming play right now. The Jake LaRavias need to turn it around. Marcus Smart was just kind of chaotic, and that chaotic basketball works in a lot of games, and I think it's going to continue working. I think we're still going to pick up wins. But, man, when he's just kind of off and turning the ball over and just that chaos isn't controlled, it can look pretty bad. And we saw it in a high-stake game today.
Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. Not much to say. I mean, this is the type of game that kind of hurts Reeves big time, especially like, all right, what can you do against these type of teams? And he got cooked by Shea, he got cooked on defense, and he couldn't get a shot off. I mean, yeah, he had a couple good offensive plays. He got to the line. That was consistent at least, but
he wasn't surgical. He wasn't effective. He wasn't getting to his spots. There was one play where Austin was trying to, get a loose ball, and Caruso just comes aggressively from behind.
Yeah.
Essentially suns him and snatches the ball from Reeves, sends Reeves flying, and they go score on the other end. And I think that just kind of epitomized the level of physicality Austin Reeves is going to face in these high-stake games. And this was a good indication. And I don't want to take away from his hot start. I think he's been doing some phenomenal things, and he's shown what he's capable of in terms of a complete package in his game. But again, like you said, it's these games that are going to send fans into a frenzy of, is he the guy? Can he perform when the defense is really clamped down? Again, there's that LeBron dynamic that we still need to see that I think alleviates a lot of pressure of focusing on just Austin and Luka. But I do think there needs to be more variation in our offense. This PNR is great. I think we need to work DeAndre Ayton into as many actions as possible because he's so efficient. He was still 3 for 5 tonight, but I think this kid lasts for maybe a season, but this heliocentric basketball needs to have some variation to it. We need to push the pace. And again, it starts from the defensive end. And if you don't have that collective effort like we showed today, literally no resistance again to anything OKC did. It's tough. Like as good as the offense is, and can we depend on? Is it fair to depend on LeBron to be that big of a defensive anchor at this point in his career?
You're making that much money.
It is, yeah, 51 million. But you got LeBron to come anchor, and then you got a Marcus Smart. Like, where else is the defense going to come from if you have OKC where 1 through 10, 1 through 15, they're all either two-way or 3-and-D players, which is such a crazy collection of players. Every team in the NBA wants to have that much depth with that type of player.
No, yeah, it's crazy. They got it. I mean, I see them going back to back. I mean, obviously, like, anything can happen, but they're the clear favorites.
Outside of an injury to OKC, I think it's OKC, Denver.
Nobody in the East can.
I don't think anyone in the East can handle OKC. It's not even going to be close. I truly, we're a Lakers show, but you have to tip your hats to OKC. For me today, it was just eye-opening. We've seen their hot start, but to just see us get massacred and dismantled the way we did and how they made us look like children, it was just a sight to see. And I honestly don't see a team right now, outside of a major injury to them, I don't see a team right now that can really beat them. I never count out Joker in Denver.
I mean, Joker got 52 right now.
What period is that in?
It's the fourth. I mean, Clippers are getting killed. Clippers
25 points in the first quarter, which is wild.
You got 52 right now. They just put him in. 6 minutes left. And up 20. Clippers they're done.
Yeah, we talk about that. It's kind of crazy to see the Clippers
out for the season.
If there's any type of, as Laker fans, it's a nice little consolation prize when the Clippers are not doing good. I never base our seasons off of them, but they look cooked. Bradley Beal's out for the season, so that experiment was cooked before it even started. They got problems down there. I think Ty Lue might get canned, which is crazy because I think he's a great coach.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think he's been that great lately. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you think so? There's teams like that are kind of bottoming out in the West. The Clippers are kind of cooked. We'll see if they can turn it around. The Dallas Mavericks again lost today. The Kings, I think, lost by like 40 to the Hawks after Doug Christie's inspirational pregame speech. It's been bad there.
They're about to blow up that whole team.
Yeah. So in that sense, you got teams like the Mavs, you got teams like the Kings, you got teams like the Pelicans.
There could be players.
The Clippers, there could be players out there on the market that teams can capitalize on. And I've early kind of like, we know we have to make a trade. Like this roster in itself, even with LeBron, you saw what the best of the best looks like. And if you think there's things we can do as a team, yes, maybe there's stuff we can do to compete, but we're not beating this team in a 7-game series. I don't know. Do you share that thought even with Bron back? Do you think this team can even go against OKC in a 7-game series?
I don't know. This was a really bad game.
It was probably the worst you could possibly play.
Lucas killed OKC before. Even with the story on it. So like this is a pretty off game. So like
I think Rob.
How many we play them? 4 times? 2 times?
We probably play them 3-4 times, 3 minimum, 4 times max. So we'll get to see him again, and it'll be another barometer test for us.
But I can't base anything off right now.
Game. Which sucks. It was kind of a tossed game. We just got to end this road trip strong. But I think when you think
some kid is like running on the court in the Clipper game.
On the court? Oh, that's
yeah.
That's not good. I mean, you got kids doing crazy things, running on the court. That kid that was sitting next to the Dallas owner, who everyone's saying pretty much led to the firing of Nico Harrison, who is beloved in Los Angeles. He should get a free drink anywhere he goes in LA, but with these teams in the West bottoming out, maybe some teams in the East bottoming out, I think Rob's got to be really aggressive with the type of players that we need. We need a couple more defenders, 3-and-D type players, and those are the hardest players to get. But Keon Ellis from the Kings comes to mind. Herb Jones would be my pipe dream if
I
we can
mean, with
land
the
him.
way the Pels are, did they lose today?
I believe
Because I think they
so.
said if they lose, Willie Green's
Willie
fired.
Green's fired. That's some
Like
wild
clearly,
stuff.
I think Zion's gone.
Yeah, he'll probably they're probably going to try to find a trade for him. Yeah, the Pels lost by
Like go get Herb Jones.
Herb Jones would be such a great fit with LeBron James coming back. You're running Ayton,
Like he's a
James,
huge
Herb
upgrade to
Jones.
Vando. Like a huge upgrade.
Huge upgrade. And I think Rob needs to. I think we're. I don't want to. And those that are in the chat, I know this was a massacre today, and we're trying to we've unpacked that to a T of just OKC was clearly the better team. We didn't come out with effort, and they just suffocated us on the defensive end, and we had no real offensive counter outside of just continuing to put up threes and just one action offensive sets, and that got us out of the game, out of the rhythm. And when you turn the ball over on top of it, they're going to capitalize off of every single turnover. So yes, they are clearly the better team. We can get into, and there's only so much analysis you can get out of this type of game, but going into this, I think there's still a good floor for us. We have shown some stuff. We have to just turn this kind of weird downtrend we're on right now and get back into what we are good at and what we do and just take care of business of what's in front of us. And then Rob on the back end has to kind of go, yeah, we can compete, but we need to be able to stop teams. Our defensive ratings have been damn near the bottom of the league, worse than I thought it would be. I thought we were going to be pretty bad on the defensive end, but we're showing nothing. And I mean, you remember last year, right? We had Hayes starting, and it was just DFS Christie for a little bit. We had a great defensive rating. No AD. We thought our defense was going to slip, and we had a stretch, and it could be, some say it's Fugazi because teams were just missing wide open threes against us. But regardless, there was a level of defensive consistency last year. It was that collective effort. And I think this game shouldn't discourage us from thinking we can't regain that collective effort.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how we bounce back.
I think it's going to be bounce back. I think Rob, to the last point, is Rob really has to be aggressive in capitalizing on getting us some more role players. Like, we need to be able to, once Laravia's not having a good game, there's really no one else to put in off the bench right now.
Yeah, I mean, at least DK is getting his value up, I guess, a little bit.
I mean, he's pouring some shots. I think DK needs a new scenery. I mean, this was cool in the blowout game. You're making some shots. It's always good to see the ball go down. But I think he just needs a new scenery. I don't think he's going to get the shot that he necessarily wants with us. He needs to go to kind of a low-stakes environment and be able to just play freely. And maybe he develops in a system like that. But when you have this many players that you can't go to on a reliable basis, and your one guy on the bench, Jake LaRavia, is not having a good game, it hasn't had a series of good games, it's tough. It's tough to stay in games. And yeah, sure, Braun comes in. That's an elite player, but that gets us to what? A real 7-man rotation?
Yeah.
8, maybe 7.5.
It's not looking great, but
so I'm hoping Rob is aggressive. We're probably not going to see any trades happen until like January, which is a lot of time away. But Laker Nation, I mean, like, we haven't got any comments yet, but please, we're going to keep doing live post games. I do recap hitters. There's a lot of reels and posts that we put online. So definitely drop the channel a sub if you're on YouTube. Follow, myself, Shay on the Beat on X, at World of AO, at Shay on the Beat, and just engage with us. I try to throw topics out there. We don't get defensive. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Our motto is like it or hate it, drop a comment and debate it. That's the tagline. And we want to get more engagement in these lives. We're a new channel. We're not the Yovans. We're not the Trevors. We're not, Coach's Den. All channels I listen to, we're for fans, by fans. And, we want to hear from you guys and just take the fan take. And it doesn't have to be so analytical all the time. The numbers, I love to dive into those too. and we have been, but just coming out with raw emotion. And if you saying like, fuck, like, excuse my language, but I understand after these games of just having that, oh, we are cooked. We're not that team. OKC is going to run it this year, but we got to have optimism. We got to have hope. We got to keep building. It's all about building the right habits over an 82-game season. And we've seen teams get hot and make good pushes, but it's all built on a foundation. And I think JJ needs to get this team in the locker room and kind of get back to the basics a bit and just kind of what got us to an 8-3 record before this game. Because there was a lot to like. So we can't change our tune that quickly because we've seen some very good games.
No, I mean, it just happens to be the best team in the league that smacked us. So, yeah, we're going to feel like this.
Smacked. And I would be more frustrated with – I do think that the spillover from the Atlanta Hawks and Charlotte Hornets game led to this type of outcome. I think we could have – we are better than what we showed today against OKC.
We haven't played a high-stakes game like this in a minute.
We haven't all season.
So, I mean, lesson learned, figure it out. Now, if you do this, continue to do this to good teams, then I'd say there's a
trend.
Cause for concern. So,
right. It's always about
this is what, the fourth loss?
Fourth loss on the year, 8-4, still a solid record. No Bron yet.
I guarantee you that's better than what anybody projected us to be if they had to project 12 games. So,
yeah, without a doubt. If someone were to tell you in the offseason, like, hey, you're not going to have LeBron for the first 12 games, Austin Reeves is going to miss a handful of games, and Luka is going to miss a handful of games, but you're still going to be 8-4 to start the season, I'd say you're kind of crazy. I don't think that's going to happen. But we're capitalizing on the schedule. I mean, this was the first test, and it's all about the response, Laker Nation. It's all about the response. How do you bounce back from this game? Beat the bricks off the Pels. That team is flailing. Beat them to a pulp, and then you're going to get a nice little test against Giannis. You know what I mean? Who's having a decent year with the Bucks. And I think the Bucks have been doing all right for what they have. So I think getting those 2 wins gets us back on track. And, we can have more productive conversations. And then if we're not playing the way we need to play against those 2 teams, then I think we can finally have that conversation of going, something needs to change. Something's not working. And we need to, that's when the Bron thing has to come sooner rather than later because, we don't want to keep trending in the wrong direction. This team has the building blocks to be a solid team, but to be elite, we need to fill in gaps and we need to really dig deep with what we have today. And, just get back on track. So, I mean, that's the game. Again, we're Lakers for life. We're trying to go live as many post games as possible. But again, if you're watching, you're listening, we want to get the engagement going. We want to get the engagement going. So the comments are everything. Follow the channel on YouTube, Lakers for Lifers. Subscribe. But again, we want to hear from you. It was a tough night tonight. It was frustrating. We just gotta go. Okay, we see what great looks like in this league. We see it now. So the team just now has to dig deep and go, okay, we just saw what great looks like. We're not too shabby. We gotta fill in some gaps and come out a little more respectable, right? And I think that this kind of game might light a fire under them, and
as it should. Let's see how they bounce back. I mean, that's all it is. Now we'll wait and see.
Wait and see. But Lakers Nation, try not to think about this too much. And let's move on to finish off the roadie strong. And again, like it or hate it, drop a comment and debate it. Stay tapped in.
Peace.